Hey everybody, welcome back to Mixing Music Analog and mixingmusicanalog.com and here on the YouTube channel. And I'm doing a little follow-up video here. It's been almost just about 24 hours or so since we posted the first video of the PreSonus Quantum 4848 versus the Dangerous Music AD Convert Plus converters, doing the converter test. And a lot of you have watched that video and we've got almost 100 comments on that video so far. And I wanted to do a little follow-up and just share some information with you that we've learned since that video was recorded to kind of just give you some more information. And plus also tell you about the hybrid mixing course that's here on the website. We'll talk about that in a minute, but so a couple of things. A lot of you, it's so funny how we all hear things differently. It's so incredibly funny how we all hear things differently. And that's so cool. We're all unique, right? So it's all good. Just like when we did the universal audio, it's about a 50-50 split of who thinks which one is which. I will tell you, out of all the comments that we've got so far, as I'm sitting here recording this video, only one person actually got it right. Every single other comment has gotten it wrong on those three to some level. Not all completely wrong, but wrong in some part. And the other thing I'm going to tell you is, which I think is so interesting, and I don't know why, I just find it cool and interesting, is that most of the people who said they preferred what they thought was the Dangerous Music was actually the Quantum. That surprised me a little, but I thought it was cool. So I think part of this, because we're all humans and the mind's a powerful thing, we all believe, as I did when we first started this, so I was hoping anyway, that the Dangerous Music, because it is a dedicated converter, two stereo converter box, and it's twice the price of the PreSonus, even though it's a different box, and we talked about that in the videos, that you would hope that it would sound a little bit better. So when you are listening to these three tracks and you're hearing something that you feel may sound better, most of yous, at least so far, are associating that with the Dangerous Music. And 90% of the people that did that so far, you were wrong. The one you preferred that you think is the Dangerous Music is actually the Quantum. Isn't that interesting? It's really cool. I'm not going to tell you which is which right now. You're going to have to wait till next week to get that video, but that video is coming. But the other thing I also wanted to tell you guys as well that was not said in the first video, because Dave and I didn't learn this piece of the puzzle yet, but now we have. Since we've done the Dangerous Music, we've also done the Neve Master Bus Converter as well as the Burl B2 Bomber. The videos are all done. They're all scheduled. They're all coming. But some other things that Dave and I have done is part of this whole research thing. One of those dynamics of this whole test is when you're listening to these things, remember, like on the Dangerous Music, there were three passes, right? One through the Quantum, 5 minutes later, unhook it, one through the Dangerous Music, couple minutes later, engage the transformer, one through the transformer, right? So there were three passes on that song in, less than 10 minutes. And so all three of those, at least some of you may feel that they all sound a little different. Some of you think they sound wildly different. Some of you don't think they really sound different at all. But some of you certainly think there is a slight difference. And we thought, well, that has to do with the different converter, right? One's two different boxes, two different converters. Possibly you're going to get a slightly different sound. Well, here's the other test that Dave and I did since those videos have been recorded that we learned. And we're going to do a whole nother video on this. But I wanted to share this with you now. So as you're listening to these files, just keep this in the back of your mind. There's just another point of interest in the quest to learn about this stuff and learn what's real and what's hype and marketing nonsense, right? That's what we're trying to do. What is real? What really matters? Right? We don't care. We don't have a dog in the fight. We're not trying to prove one's better than the other. We're just trying to prove what are the differences in sound, if there's any. Here's something interesting. And this was actually David S.J.'s idea, and I'm glad he thought of it. He said, Dave, we're doing this all analog, right? We're running it out of the box through a console. In this particular example, through probably 12 pieces of hardware and then back in, right? What if you keep it hooked up to the Quantum, run it at 48K, run a pass, copy the track, run another pass. Run two passes of the same converter at the same sample rate, one right after the other. What if we examine those files? Are they exactly the same? And what we found out was, and Dave's going to do a whole video on this. I'm not going to tell you too much about it other than to say they're not the same. They're not the same. They don't know. And they sound again, a very subtle difference. One may sound a little brighter than the other. Again, we're talking very small, but they're not the same. So that also cued me in to say, well, so if we hear a difference between one of the Dangerous Music prints and the PreSonus print, is that really due to the fact one converter sounds different? Or is in part of that sound difference just the mere fact that we ran it through analog equipment 2 times in a row? And the answer to that question is 100% absolutely. Now, how much of it is it a 50-50 split? Is it 60-40? You'll never know. Who knows? Who cares? But that's just another point of data. So when you're listening to these things, and if you hear a difference, part of that difference could be just by the mere fact we ran it through all the analog equipment twice. Because Dave is going to do a geek out video where he shows you the 2 files that we ran through the Quantum at 48K, one right after the other, and show you the differences and that they don't null, and he's going to go into a whole thing. But I wanted to share that information, so as you're listening to these files, or if you haven't listened to the files yet because you're just seeing this video for the first time, I'll link it in the description box. Go back and watch part 1, download the audio, put it into your DAW, level match, or normalize it, do whatever you want to do. And just keep in mind that if you do hear a difference, just realize that part of that difference, how much we don't know, let's say 50-50 for experiment's sake, that 50% of the sound difference is probably due to the fact we ran into the analog equipment twice and has nothing to do with the converter, which is another interesting point, isn't it? At least I find it interesting. You may think this is all crap anyway, but I find this stuff extremely interesting. Extremely interesting. It's so good to learn this stuff. So we're going to do that video. The other video that's coming soon that David is going to do, and again, I got to thank him because he did all the research on his own. I didn't ask him to do this. He went out and did this on his own, man. He started going into a deep dive of talking about the sample rates and should you print to another machine with a converter at a higher sample rate. And I actually did that video, did it all, did all the recordings, was prepping the video, and we haven't published it yet because, number one, I didn't hear a difference between any of those files. But number 2, more importantly, what Dave learned. He went and read a bunch of scientific papers, talked to some engineers, watched some YouTube videos. He did a lot of stuff to really learn why that is, and you're going to be shocked to learn again what most people think is by printing to a higher sample rate, you're going to improve the file, and that is technically incorrect. And not only is he going to do a video on that, but then Dave is also going to provide in the description box all the links from all the resources that he researched to get that information, to make sure that it's credible and that we're really looking at this correctly or as accurately as we possibly can. So you're going to find that video very interesting as well. So we're continuing on with this whole converter and sample rate and what really matters and what really doesn't matter, and just trying to bring the information. So again, I appreciate all your participation thus far. I think this is super cool. It was super fun. And you're going to have several more weeks of listening to all these boxes, and hopefully you'll learn something from it. And in the end, if you're in the market to need a converter or an upgrade or an interface or whatever, this hopefully will give you some information to at least, give you one piece of knowledge that you can put together with the other research that you do on your own to find out what works for you in your particular studio. So anyway, that's it. Short little video. Just wanted to update you on that. Now, while we're here, hey, by the way, if you're following this channel, and I talk about this in every video, guys, if you really want to learn about mixing at a more advanced level in a hybrid workflow, go check out the Mixing Hybrid course. Okay, this is Mike Mixing Hybrid Pop Rock. Where you're going to get all the multi-track files. It's like 12 or 13 hours worth of training. I take you through the whole process. It's great. And we have another one, Hybrid Mixing Acoustic Rock, coming out in August. You're going to start seeing promotional videos for that soon. Go check this course out, man. I really do appreciate your support. Go check it out. It is an enormous amount of training with a bunch of freebies. It's really cool. The link will be in the description box. Go read about the course, what you're going to learn. Even if you've been mixing for quite a long time and you're in the business and you've been doing this stuff, I guarantee you'll learn some stuff from this course because I go really deep and detailed. And if you don't use any hardware, and let's say you use mostly plugins, I show you how you can translate that workflow from analog and how you can emulate it in the box with the plugins, with the analog style plugins. I talk you through a lot of that. So anyway, go check out Mixing Hybrid Pop Rock. I really do appreciate it. Again, thanks for watching these converter videos. And until the next video, I've been Dave with Mixing Music Analog. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.